guess you had better have a look at this. This is the policeman in charge. Goddamn Kaffir. Lovely.
The word Kaffir is an Arabic word translated to English as non-believer to all non-Muslims. It was applied to non-believing blacks along the Swahili coast by Arab traders. When the Portuguese arrived on the East Coast around 1498, they often heard the word being used by the Arabs. In the book entitled The Kaffirs of Natal and the Zulu Country by Joseph Shooter, he stated, Kaffirs belong to the Negro variety of mankind. Their features differ much from the popularity ascribed to the race. They live in small communities and occupy what Europeans denominated kraals. A kraal consists of a circular cattle fold with huts disposed around it, but in bushy districts where the materials could be easily procured, and externally fenced was added to be enclosed the whole. Kraal is an African and Dutch word for an enclosure for cattle or other livestock. Variations of the word was used by the English and the Dutch, and later by the Afrikaans, a West Dramatic language spoken in South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. Its origin was from the Dutch vernacular. They would go on to use the word from the 17th century until the early 20th century as a general term for several different people of Southern Africa. The Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, and Tswana. In the 16th century, the explorer Leo Africanus described the Kaffir as pagan Negroes. Throughout the South African history, once the South African Act of 1909 was established, 4 colonies were established. There were the Cape Colony, the Tall Colony, Transvaal Colony, and the Orange River Colony. Afrikaneers nationalism dominated South African politics from 1948 to 1994. It was a political ideology that was born in the late 19th century among the Afrikaneers in South Africa. Due to the Boer Wars, which was a war fought between Britain and the self-governing Afrikaner colonies of South African Republic, the Transvaal and the Orange Free State from 1899 to 1902. Afrikaner is one who is born, raised, or living in South Africa, whose first language is African and whose ancestors were Dutch. Concerned about German interests in Southern Africa, the British Empire annexed the Boer South African Republic, or the Transvaal, in 1877 to ensure the society of its own African territories. On October the 9th, 1899, the Transvaal government demanded the withdrawal of British troops from its border and the recall of all overseas reinforcements. Later on the 20th September 1899, New Zealand, with the leadership of Premier Richard Seaton, sent 204 mounted troops assisting the British. In the 20th century, the Dutch Africans used the term in a derogatory way towards black people in the South Africa region until this day. It is regarded as a highly racially offensive word in the same way as the word of nigger in the United States and other English-speaking countries. Use of the word has been in South African courts since the 1976 under the offense of crimen injuria, the unlawful, intentional, and serious violation of the dignity of another. In the year 2000, the Parliament of South Africa enacted the Promotion of Prevention of Unfair Act. The objective is to prevent hate speech, such as the term